Hello everyone, welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets, the channel where we slow the gossip down, connect the dots, and tell one complete story you can plug straight into text-to-speech. If you enjoy clear, respectful deep dives, please like the video, subscribe, and tap join so you never miss an episode. Today's story begins with hope, hits turbulence, and ends with a reminder about how fast online narratives can outrun the truth. The names at the center are ones you already know: Alp, Navruz, Ayça, and Alina. Let's start at the beginning, because missing the first step is how people trip over the last one. After a long relationship that had become part of fans' daily routine, Alp and Ayça decided to go their separate ways. They didn't turn it into a spectacle. They didn't leak timelines. They did what private people do: they pressed pause in public, then dealt with the details in private. The internet, of course, does not like blank spaces, so speculation rushed in. Some followers read every like as a love letter, others saw every silence as a declaration. Editors stitched together airport sightings, playlist choices, and distant reflections in cafe windows into theories that felt tidy enough to trend. Then came the spark that convinced everyone a reunion was inevitable. A handful of accounts posted that Alp and Ayça had reconciled, citing thin clues, parallel captions, a shared friend story, geotags that might have been delayed, might have been recycled, might have been anything. People wanted a happy ending, and when you want something badly enough, confirmation bias turns dots into lines. Messages poured in. Finally. I knew it. True love always comes back. For a few hours, optimism drowned out caution. Reality returned on a day that should have belonged to joy alone, Ayça's birthday. Just as fans were expecting a sweet couple reveal or at least a peace signal, a different kind of post appeared. One image, spare and raw, that looked nothing like celebration. It was not a dramatic meltdown, not a speech, not a takedown. It was simply a picture that said, without words, "This is not the day you imagined for me." Within minutes, she was with her closest people, family and longtime friends who have stood beside her through premieres and quiet Sundays alike. When someone you love is hurting, you don't ask for context. You make tea, you answer the door, you keep your phone face down. That's exactly what happened. Now, here's where the story took a sharp, confusing turn. While the birthday rumors were still cooling, new content surfaced, promotional visuals of Alp with Alina from a fresh campaign. People who had spent the morning believing in reconciliation spent the afternoon asking an angrier question: how could he move on so fast, and with Alina? Emotions slid from hope to hurt to outrage in the space of a swipe. Timelines flooded with side-by-side comparisons and captions that sounded more like verdicts than questions. In the middle of it all, Alina's name trended for a reason that had little to do with her work and everything to do with the timing of an unrelated job. Let's untangle this carefully, because untangling is the point of this channel. Commercial campaigns and brand films do not materialize overnight. They are scheduled weeks, sometimes months, in advance. Scripts drafted, wardrobe fitted, contracts signed, shoot days blocked, options held for weather, and contingency plans made so nobody loses a day of work to a rumor. When the finished images finally land on your feed, they represent a logistical marathon you never saw. In other words, the release date you reacted to has almost nothing to do with the private calendar in anyone's pocket. A professional collaboration between Alp and Alina is just that, professional. It is not a coded message. It is not a taunt. It is not evidence of a secret timeline. It is two actors doing their job. That matters because it reframes the second wave of outrage that rolled in. A portion of the audience pivoted from feeling protective of Ayça to projecting frustration onto Alina. That turn was unfair then, and it's unfair now. Alina has built a reputation for showing up prepared, respecting crews, and letting the work speak. She isn't a rumor factory and she isn't a rebound. She is an actress who kept a commitment she made long before anyone saw a birthday post. If you're looking for a villain in this episode, try the algorithm. It rewards speed over accuracy and amplifies the loudest emotional take in the room, not the truest one. What about Alp? The easy narrative paints him as careless, the more honest one is more complex and less clickable. People process endings differently. Some go silent and stay off-grid. Some pour themselves into work and keep every commitment because routine is the only thing that makes sense when your personal life stops making sense. The public sees only the visible half of that process and assumes intention where there might only be obligation. When Alp appeared in campaign materials with Alina, he wasn't introducing a new chapter. He was fulfilling a job that a dozen departments had already built around him. You can respect Ayça's feelings and still acknowledge that reality. Inside Ayça's circle, the mood was exactly what you'd expect from a close-knit family watching headlines right over someone they love. Protective, yes. Angry at the abstractions more than the person. Upset about the collision of dates, not the existence of a calendar. When a daughter's sad image collides with a former partner's smiling promo shots, no mother in the world thinks about brand pipelines or rollout schedules. She thinks, my child is hurting. That's not a tabloid plot, it's human reflex. So what exactly did the handsome actor do, as the breathless captions asked? He worked. He shot what he was hired to shoot. He posted less than people wanted and more than some were ready to see. He did not go live to explain, did not upload screenshots, did not give the internet a tight scripted confession. You can disagree with the optics, but optics are not a moral code. Sometimes they are just the angle from which you saw two unrelated things on the same day. There's a bigger conversation here about how fans, media, and platforms co-create narratives. We love to say respect their privacy right up until privacy withholds the cliffhanger we think we're owed. We want people to heal, but we also want a happy ending on a schedule that keeps our timelines fed. The truth is simpler and harder. Care does not always arrive with a perfect sense of timing. Professional obligations do not always step aside for personal milestones. And social media, which treats coincidence like conspiracy, is a bad map for a terrain this sensitive. Let's answer a few quick questions I know you'll ask in the comments. Is there a chance Alp and Ayça still reconcile later? A chance exists for any two people who once cared for each other, but possibility isn't promise. If something changes, the people involved will say so in their own time, or not at all. Was the birthday post a message to Alp? It was a message about feelings, full stop. We should resist turning every expression of sadness into a subpoena. Did Alina replace anyone? No. A co-star or campaign partner can coexist with your sympathy for someone's private pain. These are different lanes. Should Alp have delayed the campaign post? That assumes he controlled the exact release time, which is rarely true. Brand schedule, agency schedule, platforms auto-publish, and sometimes the only lever an actor controls is whether they personally share a tile. Even then, there are contractual obligations. Silence can be interpreted as shade, sharing can be read as insensitivity. This is why public life is often a no-win equation during tender weeks. What is the healthiest way for fans to show support right now? Keep your language kind. Don't tag family. Don't accuse collaborators. Celebrate the work that made you love these people in the first place. If you want to help, lower the temperature of the conversation rather than raising it. There's a detail about Alina that deserves to be underlined because it got lost in the swirl. She remained professional through a situation she didn't create. She showed up, hit her marks, delivered what the team needed, and refused to inflame the discourse by turning off-camera noise into on-camera posture. Calling her innocent isn't a way to baby her, it's a way to point out that the only role she played here was the one in the script. As for Alp, whatever you think of his choices, remember that coping looks different on every face. Some people talk, some work, some run, some rest. The piece of the picture you saw this week was work. That doesn't invalidate anyone's hurt, it just complicates the frame. And Ayça? She did the wisest thing a person can do when the ground shifts under their feet. She closed ranks, trusted her inner circle, and let time do what public statements rarely can. The fastest way to turn a bad week into a worse month is to try to manage a million strangers' opinions. The fastest way back to yourself is smaller rooms, quieter hours, and people who know your laugh well enough to bring it back without forcing it. Before we wrap, here's a short etiquette guide for the next time you find yourself watching a story in real time. Verify before you amplify. Treat sponsored content like what it is, work, not a diary entry. Keep families and partners who didn't sign up for fame out of the tags. If you need to vent, vent to a friend, not at a stranger. And when in doubt, choose words you wouldn't be ashamed to see on a headline if the person you're talking about read them out loud. This has been Turkish Spotlight Secrets, where we chase clarity, not clout. If today's deep dive helped you see the bigger picture, please like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next long-form breakdown. Tell me in the comments. Do you think campaigns should build grace windows around sensitive personal dates, or is that an impossible ask in a global industry? And what's the fairest way for fans to balance empathy with curiosity? Thank you for watching. Be kind in the comments, take care of yourselves, and goodbye.